Listen, we are back. Make sure you like this video as you are coming in. Make sure you like it. Thank you. What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New. And honey, I am back in the building. Listen, this time, honey, I'm back to talk Love and Marriage Huntsville. We got Miss Wanda calling out Maurice and Marceau for messing with that lady that Ariane and Martell did that interview with. Maurice acted as if he didn't know who the lady was when Miss Wanda interviewed him and Kimmy. They had this whole 80s party where everybody, dressed up as you would in the 80s. It was a mess. Miss Wanda had me crack it up because she said to Will, she said, honey, you make an older woman, honey, wish for younger days. I know that's right. I was that Miss Wanda is a fool, honey. Okay? Cutting a fool and acting a fool. Listen, that was funny. Child, and it looked like Will wanted to be with it. It was funny when all the guys, they had Will, Lance, and then the one guy, I forgot his damn name, Lance's godbrother, I forgot his name. They all surrounded Destiny, at the little 80s party that Tisha and Marceau had. I thought that was funny. Will said that they are all in a group chat. I was like, Destiny girl, you better stop letting these men play with you. You looking a little loose, honey. Okay, you're looking a little loose, honey. In the words of your mother, I have a home. I ain't out on the street. What you got? Don't it sound like Destiny's mother wanted to say that to her? What you got? Because according to the barbecue, honey, you are the squatter. Okay. Everybody talked about Miss Wanda's YouTube channel. Kimmy said that Miss Wanda is an influencer. What is she influencing? People to make them nasty ass potatoes? Potatoes. Okay, she ain't influencing nothing. She's a content creator. Okay, like Maurice says, that comes with the mess, with the drama, with the chaos, with the confusion, okay? All the things. I did kind of like them injecting that into the episode, like her being a messy-ass content creator, because, look, no lies were told. So, yeah, I was kind of here for that. I thought that was creative. I'll give them that. The episode was still dry as the Sahara, honey. It was still dry, because there's no star power on this show. Marceau don't have it, and Latifah damn show ain't got it. She could try to steal it. Okay, that's why I call her Latifah, because she loved copying and pasting other folks' ideas, being a monitoring spirit. All the things, right? I told y'all she got that copy and paste spirit bad, okay? You better hide your shipping address. Ain't that right, Stormy? You better hide that Embrace logo melody, okay? That heifer took that and put it as part of the Mommy Business podcast. We ain't heard shiggity about that. They called Latifah out for Tisha Tuesdays. The heifer don't even show up every Tuesday. Just a mess, honey. Okay? Miss Wanda also called out Hook-Headed for talking about her daughter. Don't talk about my daughter like Shani. Like, she talked about Shanice. Honey, she had to get on Martell. Martell looked a fool, but he looked like one of them 80s fools. Okay? What was it, an 80s party? 80s mixed with 90s? That's how the people look, honey. That's how my brother's hair was cut, honey. Back in the day, honey. They did that shit in the 90s, too. Okay? But I liked the theme of the party. I just didn't like who was throwing the party. I just... Run away from me with this, okay? So Miss Wanda asks Martell, did Marceau and Maurice, did they both have that lady that was on the podcast with him and Ariane? Martell didn't answer the question. We see a flashback of Marceau saying that he will never say anything negative about Martell. Of course not, because he don't want his damn business out there. Okay? But I believe Martell when it comes to Marceau and Maurice. You can't tell me anything different. Martell has always said, even since season 1, that Marceau and Maurice have both stepped out on their women. And I just really believe that because I'm like looking at their behavior. And Tisha and Kimmy, they allow both of their husbands to get away with everything. Okay, so ciao. Martell is a fool, but he ain't lying about them Scott brothers. Okay, and especially like the more episodes that come out with Maurice and Kimmy being at odds, honey, I can see it. I can see that Mellow Yellow may have stepped out. Okay. Baby, I was cracking up at Miss Wanda. She was out on the dance floor doing the butt and Marceau is a fool. He said, oh my God, your mother had a wardrobe malfunction. You can't unsee it. I know that's right, honey. All that ass was out. Wanda is a fool. Ain't no shame, honey, in Miss Wanda's game. So Martell and Maurice both clown Destiny when she arrived. She looked really pretty. They clown her because all her little boyfriends is there. Lance, Antoine, Will, Hell, shit, all she needed was LaBarbecue to show up, okay? Are you sitting next to me? That's how Latifah sounded. Girl, shut up. So Miss Nell sits by her, and I think it was Miss Nell and Tisha that mentioned, oh, well, you didn't show up to Destiny's house and give her the invite that the rest of us got, because her and Marceau went around to everybody's houses like rapping and, inviting them to the little 80s party. But yeah, she didn't show up to her bestie's house. Guess why? Because the childish, miserable, pathetic bitch is still in her feelings about Destiny riding in the quiet car with Miss Nell. She's still upset over that. Destiny mentioned, I thought we let all that go after the winery. No, Miss Childish didn't, girl. Okay? Why are you shocked, though, Destiny? This is all the childish shit that Melody had to put up when it comes to this girl. Okay? So it's like, I don't halfway feel sorry for you, but Latifah is so predictable. She is. And girl, you are in your feelings because you feel like the people drag you. They really go drag you. They are really going to drag you for what you did on this episode, for you still being in your feelings. Well, she didn't text back. Well, she is so childish. It's like every little fucking thing. She's one of them childish ass women where everything is tit for tat. I cannot stand women like that. You are not a woman behaving like that. That's how a child acts. Ugh. So Miss Wanda comes to the table with the ladies to join them. They get to talking about the situation with Destiny and Tisha. Latifah says she needs to know, where does Destiny's loyalty lie? This bitch does the same thing. It doesn't matter who the person is. She still operates from the same fucking template. It's crazy to me. Because you did this shit with Kimmy when she was trying to be neutral when it came to you and Mel. This is before she signed an agreement to crawl right up your ass and agree with everything that you say and do. Okay? This is back when she had a little bit of sense. Okay? Back when we had hope for old Kimmy. Like, Destiny looked very confused. Destiny rolled her eyes, and like, it was almost as if she was shocked that Tisha, was operating like this at the table. I'm not shocked. Okay, I'm not shocked. I had her number a long time ago. She's so childish and so sixth grade. Like, if you don't agree with everything she says and does, and you try to extend some type of loyalty towards, another person that she may have some animosity with, she's in her feelings. She feels like you have taken that person's side over hers. And her mother is no different. Like, they both operate from like the same playbook. It's crazy to me. Crazy, ghetto, a fool, childish. So, honey, Miss Wanda comes to the table just starting a whole bunch of shiggity. Okay, because Miss Nell even told her, well, we don't need to get off into why me and your daughter had our issues. It was mainly because of the husbands. The whole NDA comment that Chris made about Marceau and Maurice. So Wanda says, oh, so that's why you and Tisha was into it? Okay, and it's just so messy. Okay, but this is, par for the course when it comes to tacky Miss Wanda, honey. So I'm watching Miss Nell's behavior at the table, and it looked like she's really trying her hardest not to get into it with Miss Wanda. She's actually agreeing with Miss Wanda. The husbands are over there kikiing and cacaing, and me and you are at odds. It doesn't make any sense. So Miss Nell says, well, your damn daughter checked my husband. Here go Wanda. Why I gotta be my damn daughter? And Nell was like, probably because I'm angry. And then that's when Miss Wanda started with Nell. Like, Miss Wanda, do you have any business of your own? Okay. Latifah, I watched her ass. Her punk ass. She is such a coward. She was delighting in her mother having conflict with Miss Nell. She was like loving it. Okay? So yeah, Tisha is like not a good person. Her ass wouldn't have did that shit if Kiki was alive. She was moving a little different, honey, when Kiki was around. Okay? But oh my God, you guys. Oh, it was a mess. It was so unnecessary. It was so ghetto and so hood. Okay? But yeah, and I don't like that shit with Tisha and Kimmy where they push and push. They poke the bear when it comes to Nell. Miss Wanda did it too. They poke and poke and poke. And then when Miss Nell starts screaming and yelling, they the first ones. Why you doing all that yelling? What's going on? Why you saying stuff like that? Why you starting shit? Why you even bring the conversation up? Because you wanted to be messy, Miss Wanda, and you wanted to check Nell because you don't like that she rejected your punk ass daughter. She's not here for her copy and paste ways. Okay, she's not here for her monitoring spirit ass. Okay? Ghetto folk, they hate being rejected. They do. They take everything as an attack. They want to fight, and it's maniacal for me, honey. It's crazy. But what more do you expect from the people on the first floor? I don't like that Miss Nell ended up apologizing to Latifah because it sets this tone like, oh, I'm going to be worried when your mother comes around. Latifah didn't deserve an apology whatsoever, but that's what she wanted, because listen to what she said in her confessional. Yep, I got my apology, my mom, and she's gonna keep doing this shit more and more and more because she feels like it works, and it doesn't. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think Nell is afraid of Miss Wanda. I think she would give her ass a good run for her money. Okay. But I think Nell didn't want like too much conflict and drama. She does seem as if she's going through a lot. So she knows, we got to perform for the show. But I did see her not really wanting any smoke with Wanda. Wanda came in hot because she's been listening to Latifah and her thesis about Miss Nell. Okay, and how Miss Nell hurt her feelings. She's the poor perpetual victim. The ladies are trying to calm, Miss Nell down. Destiny had Miss Nell. Tisha tried to calm her mother down. It's giving fake, especially from you, Latifah, because this is what you wanted. Okay, this is what you wanted. I saw your eyes. They were smiling. They were smizing. Okay. So, yeah, just a mess. Miss Nell somehow, someway began talking about her mother and how she wishes her mother was around to protect her. I guess she was talking about what Wanda was doing for Latifah. Wanda is not protecting Latifah. She's not. She's making Latifah look really weak. That's what she's doing. Little does she know. But, so Miss Wanda blurts out to Miss Nell, well, it looked like before your mama died, you didn't clear things up with her. It looked like you feeling a way about that and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, Miss Wanda, that her mother has passed. And it sounded like in that moment, Miss Nell, missed her mom. So it's like, why all the negativity? Okay, and then they began going back and forth about each other mothers, and Wanda said she was on the best of terms with hers before she passed, and Nell said the same thing, and she loved her mother, and her mother, was amazing, and she, told her mother everything before she passed, and sad case, a mess. This is why it doesn't pay to like argue with a fool, because you begin to look ignorant. Okay, poor Mrs. Nell. Okay, because I couldn't deal with these heifers. They low on the emotional intelligence. They low on the maturity. They grew up together. You can never trust a mother and daughter duo that grew up together, that resides on the first floor and the other side of the tracks. Okay, Marceau's words, not mine. So once again, honey, we have Miss Nell at Latifah's feet apologizing to her. I just really didn't like all of this because it was giving, I'm apologizing to you because your mother is here, but Miss Nell was like, I really hate that we're not getting along, and both our husbands are getting along, and that's what Latifah needed. And this is actually signs that you're dealing with a covert narcissist. Anybody knows that when you have dealt with a covert narcissist, they need for you to apologize first. They need for you to admit that you were wrong, because in their mind, it's you taking responsibility and accountability for the whole situation. So that is what they like. And I looked at Latifah, and like I said, she got in that confessional and was like, yeah, we can move on. I got the apology I wanted. Yeah, somebody took accountability, and it wasn't you. You are disgusting and pitiful. And Miss Nell, you are a better woman than me, because that shit wouldn't have went down. It would have been like, bitch, you're not getting an apology. I don't give a fuck if your mother is here or not. Okay, they both would have wanted to fight my ass. But yeah, you're not getting an apology, and you don't deserve one. Get the hell out of here. Okay. So they all end up squashing everything, and everybody starts doing the slow dancing. Like I said, all Destiny's men gathered around her, child. At one point she was dancing with Hook-Headed. I said, really? Y'all know y'all want to get a little closer, okay? And I don't know why Hook-Headed is so obsessed with all these men that Destiny is allegedly dating, or whatever the hell she doing on this show, because he look a little too pressed, okay? But yeah, I got my good eye on you, Hook-Headed. Okay, y'all think Destiny and Hook-Headed hooked up? Did y'all see how they was making sure they was far apart when they was dancing? Anybody caught that? We know Ariane would be jealous as hell. Okay, she'll be jealous and mad, probably throwing stuff at the TV. So next we have Maurice and Kimmy, and what's weird about this scene is they both looked excited about date night, and they're looking to spend some time together, and for it to take a turn the way that it did, with the possibility of them breaking up. Okay, Kimmy had mentioned, you said you wanted me to be happy whether I was with you or without you. And then even Maurice, for him not to vocalize what he had said to her before, because I guess he had mentioned something about breaking up, and Kimmy is just like, say it. Yeah, y'all shit is done. It's a wrap. Shout out to Claudia Jordan. She called it. She said, yeah, Kimmy is done with that man. He's in his soft hands era. He's not trying to do things to please her anymore or make her life easier. I think that you have to have that in a marriage and in a relationship. You have to want to impress each other and please each other, right? And that is definitely gone when it comes to Maurice and Kimmy. So let's rewind real quick. So Kimmy felt like therapy had been going well, but she made a comment. And she made a comment she feels like Maurice is only participating in therapy for her not to become better, right? To me, that's what she alluded to. She didn't say those exact words, right? I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, he's in therapy because it looks good. Not because it'll be good for him. And he actually wants to change his behavior, right? That way he could stop hurting you. That's not why he's there. He's there for shallow reasons. And to me, it came out when he had an issue with the woman calling him out, the woman therapist, calling him out for the excessive amounts of sex that he needs per day to get by. And he didn't like that she said that wasn't normal. Nigga, it's not normal. Well, her husband, he had a different perspective, and he was asking more why am I like that? Why do I need that? He's sexist as hell. He's just like his brother. They cannot take any constructive criticism from the opposite sex because they don't feel that women are as smart as they are. That's why Marceau treats Latifah the way in which he does, because he doesn't see her as being on his level simply because she's a woman, right? He's very chauvinistic, and you can definitely get those same sentiments from Maurice from listening to him speak. But Kimmy is thinking they are making all these breakthroughs, and she's learning more about Maurice and herself, and survey says that's a lie. Okay, Maurice is shallow. He will say and do whatever he needs to get by. The behavior, it actually reminded me of Martell. Y'all remember when Martell would apologize to Melody and then keep hurting her because he was only just saying what he needed to say. That way he can get her back. All the while having the same intentions of, he has the intentions to still dog his wife. Maurice is the same way. And we know that Marceau hates therapy. He hated being called out by Dr. Francis. That's why we have not seen him anywhere near him. Because they don't want to be held accountable and responsible, for their bad behavior and how they treat their wives. They want to operate as if it's normal, and it's not. So Maurice feels like him and Kimmy are unequally yoked, as it pertains to the bedroom. She doesn't need all that sex, and he does, right? Also, the male therapist said that Maurice so-called needs all this sex because, that's his way of self-soothing. So I thought that was a good observation. But also, Kimmy says that Maurice used to build all the time and lay down carpet and, paint and really get his hands dirty. He's in his soft hand era. And, she's not getting turned on anymore because he doesn't work as hard anymore. I noticed Kimmy kept trying to have a meeting in the middle. Okay, about, Maurice and how he's changed and, that, in fact, that made her change. But, it still can be worked out, right? That's what Kimmy was saying, right? In so many words. But you could see that Maurice felt emasculated. I don't feel like she emasculated him because she was telling his ass the truth. And Maurice said that Kimmy was screwing him 2 and 3 times a day. She always did it. He doesn't know why it's a problem now that they are married. And this is the thing. People change. Sex is always nice, hot, and fresh in the beginning. And then once you get used to being with somebody, it kind of wears off and you got to compromise, right? That's what you do in a healthy monogamous relationship or marriage, right? But there's none of that, when it comes to Maurice and Kimmy. There is this need and desire for Maurice to control everything and to act like a brat if he doesn't get all the sex that he feels that Kimmy should be giving him. Maurice says that he hates that he misled Kimmy into believing that he was somebody that, he's clearly not. He's not the builder. Okay, he is in his soft hand era, honey. That need to be on a t-shirt, okay? Watching them converse felt very one-sided, and I told you all that whenever something is one-sided, it's double-minded, and it's of the devil, and that's what I see when I look at Maurice. And he casually says out of his mouth, well, we just may need to, and Kimmy's like, well, just say it. He was like, no, I'm not going to speak negativity over our life. And then she was like, well, then why did you just say that? Like, why you in therapy? We wasting the therapist's money. Because this is the whole thing, Kimmy. He does not plan on changing, and you are waiting for him to just spell it out when his behavior is telling you everything you need to know. Okay? It's telling you everything. There are men that will treat you bad just to break up with you. Just so you can, just end things with them. Okay? And this is supposed to be a marriage. This should be deeper than just, some romantic relationship, right? This is a marriage. You guys, committed yourselves before God. I don't even think Larice believe in God with the shiggity that come up out of his mouth, okay? Because I didn't hear a husband that was concerned about losing his wife. You have a man when he's, worried about losing you. But the fact that he has been in this bad behavior for so long and he keeps embarrassing you, he's not afraid of losing you. Because he knows, just like the other times, I could put a Band-Aid on this and you will go right back into my programming. Okay, so yeah. Then he begins talking to the producer. And, I guess they was trying to get him to say it. I don't need him to spell A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't need him to spell out shit. The writings is already on the wall. Okay, on the burning wall. Because she's in a burning house, honey. But that's neither here nor there. What did y'all think about the episode? It's crazy. We're going to be talking about how more people felt about the episode in another video. But yeah, it was very harsh. It was very I don't really care about the marriage no more. I think that is very hurtful, to treat your wife like that. You don't treat somebody you love like that. Okay? And what's interesting is that, men, they want so much. They expect so much out of you, and they're not even willing to meet you halfway. He's asking for all this sex 2 and 3 times a day. He can't even meet her halfway and understand her point of view. And this is unfortunately, this is how a lot of men is. Okay? They have all these expectations of you. And meanwhile, they don't care about the ones, that you have for them. That's too much. So, yeah, it's very much so. It's giving unequally yoked. It's giving you guys are not compatible. That's what it's giving. Okay, so let's shake a bone and get the hell on. Shout out to the Jasmine brand. It says that Kandi Burruss is accusing her ex, Todd Tucker, of putting on a facade for his followers while leaving her to shoulder the financial responsibilities of their children. In court documents obtained by US Weekly, Kandi is asking the court to establish parenting time and child support as part of their ongoing divorce. She noted that their kids, Ace and Blaze, have significant monthly expenses, including a nanny, tuition, extracurricular activities, and medical bills, and that Todd has not contributed. Ooh, child. The Real Housewives of Atlanta alum also claimed that despite what his social media may show, Todd does not exercise parenting time with the minor children on a significant basis. So he's just doing all the daddy daycare videos. I told you guys those were strategic. Okay? Those were strategic. That was a way of him to record himself And that way he could pull up his social media and he gets to look like Father of the Year, and Kandi is the one always gone. Now, meanwhile, we've seen Todd like out traveling in the Bahamas. He outside. He always announces that he's outside. Okay? That's why I told y'all she shouldn't have to pay him any child support. He just wants her money. Okay, that's why he has not been paying, because he just wants her money. Todd has been very good at doing his 2 to 3 minute social media videos chronicling his daddy daycare. Kandi further alleged that he tried to prevent the children from traveling to New York City for a pre-planned trip to visit her. Why are you keeping them cheering from their mother? What the hell is wrong with you, weirdo? What are you doing? Why are you acting stupid, Todd? Todd has not publicly responded to the claims, but his attorney told the outlet, "Rather than commenting to the press, we leave these matters to the court and what is in our properly filed documents." Kandi filed for divorce from Todd in November of 2025, ending an 11-year marriage. Now, what do you guys think of this? It's a mess. This is why I told y'all, though, she should not pay him alimony, child support, and then your ass was out here cheating. It's too much. Ain't nobody rewarding you, nigga, for your bad behavior. So let's see what the people think of this. One person says, Kandi said nannies and relatives, and sometimes they're there with her. His daddy daycare never impressed me. Filming 10 minutes out the day with your children doesn't prove you are there for the other 8 to 16 hours. I know that's right. Another person says, damn, he been planning his escape. He stopped liking her a long time ago. Another person says, I thought their divorce proceedings were sealed. Kandi wants them sealed and Todd wants them open. And I told y'all, Kandi needs to stop traveling with him. Stop it, girl. Okay, stop it. The facade is over. Okay, it is over. Another person, instead of arguing with Nene and fighting with the dragon on Housewives, she should have been watching her home and Todd. Another person says this filing is going to backfire substantially if he wins even partial custody, because that substantial monthly expenses thing is going to work in his favor. This is a man saying this, because she's the one with the coined purse, and his lawyer will use that amount to get payments from her. Another person says, oh, wow, I'm actually surprised at all the support for Todd. My thing is, Kandi, baby, he was never able to meet you financially. He's not more able now that you're leaving him. This is what Mama Joyce was trying to say. Unless Kandi married up financially, she would always foot the bill. Visitation, I understand, but other than that, can he even afford his own rent and baseline needs to have wealthy children visit his house at this time? Another person says, OMG, Mama Joyce tried to warn her. Mama Joyce is going to tear him up when she gets a chance. Sometimes we got to trust our mom's intuition about men. Yeah, sometimes we have to trust our mother's intuition, but I think that mothers also have to be aware of the energy that they are giving their child about the opposite sex. Okay? Because let's be very clear, Mama Joyce and them aunties, they wanted Kandi's money for themselves. And if she want to take care of her mother and her aunties, you know, that's fine. But they want some of Kandi money too now. Okay? But But Mama Joyce, honey, was right about Mr. Todd, honey. That's what it looked like. I knew when he was trying to get that damn child support and that alimony, he wasn't about shit. I knew what type of time he was on. She better get some type of proof that he out here cheating. But this is the thing, Candy. Don't do that threesome shit in your next situation. Number one, don't get married again, okay? And don't do that threesome shit. That shit is stupid and it's played out. I don't remember when it was actually in, okay? Child, and another one. Todd spent all these years trying to tell us he wasn't what Mama Joyce said he was, only to be revealed as the whack as fuck dude she called out. Another person says Todd wants full custody so he can receive child support. Yeah, that's what he wants. Oh, they said he trying to cake-fed her. Kevin Federline, honey. I don't know why. I think that Todd is a little bit more up there than K-Fed. Okay, just a little bit. But Brittany, girl, that was dumb. Why you do that? I knew Brittany was special, honey, when she came out with that, oops, I did it again. You know what the fuck you did. I mean, I'm just saying, listen, why am I into it with Brittany? About her damn song, honey. Another person, 10 years is the amount of time it takes to take everything. He planned all this, like his ex said. Ooh, you never win, honey, when you play dirty. Okay? You never win. Another person makes a really good comment. Todd wasn't even a primary caretaker of his daughter, Kayla. She lived with her mother until he married Candy, whereas Candy raised Riley by herself with no issues. I do not think that this will hold up well for Todd. Todd wants custody of the kids so that he can collect that child support, because I am pretty sure all of the businesses that they actually built together would rely on Candy for them still to be profitable after they got a divorce. Child, it's a mess. Okay, it's a mess. You team Candy, you team Todd. Okay, and then some of the people, they don't feel sorry for Candy. Because remember how Candy acted when Natalie said Todd was always on the come up looking for a better situation. And Candy said, we don't really give a fuck about, what your friend went through with Todd. Okay? What did Candy say? She said that Todd came up and I'm that bitch. Okay? And he doesn't have a reason to ever cheat. Oh, child, you remember Candy was talking all that shit. Okay, down to the winery. Okay. Another person says Candy let him go without a job for too long. That was another thing. Like, you needing him to be with you all the time and he trying to get to the bag, and she wanted to do too many projects with him. Okay? And she was willing to pay for it at that time, but look like time is up, honey. Okay? But, it's a sad situation. I'm still Team Candy, even though she kind of asked for some of this leasing. The writings was always there, honey. But, yeah, what y'all think about this?